has reaffirmed Nigeria's commitment to deliver world-class first-ever global conference on tourism, culture, and creative industry scheduled for November 2022. President Muhammadu Buhari, who gave the assurance while visiting the headquarters of the United Nations World Tourism Organization in Madrid, said Nigeria has enormous wonders to reveal to the world at the conference. Buhari will be the first Nigerian leader to visit the headquarters of the United Nations World Tourism Organization in Spain since the country joined the organization in 1975. Buhari visited Madrid, Spain to formally appreciate the UN organ for granting Nigeria the hosting rights of the first ever global conference on tourism, culture, and creative industry.
This is further proof of Nigeria's support of the vision of the organization and also an affirmation of the confidence reposed in our country by your organization. The event provides yet another opportunity for Nigeria to showcase its tourism and creative industry to the world.
Apart from the nation's wonders to be revealed that are not well known to the world, President Buhari said the conference would also be utilized effectively towards extending the country's hospitality, as well as introduce its leisure and business sectors to potential investors.
It's ready to deliver our world-class conference this November, and we assure all participants from within and outside the country of a safe and secure environment, as well as excellent facilities. I look forward to stronger and more mutually rewarding relationship between Nigeria and the United Nations World Tourism Organization in years ahead.
The President thanked the World Tourism Organization for granting Nigeria 100 tourism online academic scholarships in recognition of the country's efforts at empowering the youths and boosting quality education in tourism. The Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, Zurab Polilo-Kashvili, described President Buhari's visit as a direct confirmation of how important tourism is to Nigeria and promised commitment to support efforts at boosting the country's culture and tourism potentials.
Tourism and to attract more and more tourists in Nigeria. The numbers are very small. It's a shame, I think, that Nigeria has to receive much more tourists to see the beauty and to meet the culture and beauty of Nigerian people, which is most important.
For the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, President Buhari's visit to the headquarters of the WTO was not only significant and timely, but also reinforced the mutual respect between Nigeria and the UN organ.
To remember that for every 10 jobs in the world, tourism provides one, and that revenue from tourism all over the world is about 2.5 trillion naira today. After agriculture, tourism and the creative industry also employs the largest number of people in Nigeria, especially women and youth. So the fact that the president, came to visit the UNWTO Secretariat shows again the importance Mr. President attaches to tourism and the creative sector.
The last 3 years of Governor Abeokuta administration in Ogun State have witnessed astonishing development in all sectors and patriotic service. The State Commissioner for Information and Strategy, Alhaji Abdul Wahid Odushile, stated this while featuring on flagship program New Dawn in Ogun State Television, OGTV. In an interview, the #1 journalist in the state rolled out the complementary roles played by his ministry in the dissemination of government's activities to the nooks and crannies of the state.
Well, the administration of Prince Dr. Abiodun MFR, the governor of Ogun State, in the last 3 years has been wonderful in terms of delivering the dividend of democracy to the people of Ogun State as he promised them. The governor always emphasized this. that his administration is a promise-keeping administration. And we have been doing that since he came to power on May 29, 2019. All the promises made, even more, have been kept, they have been delivered. The ones that had not been delivered are about being delivered.
According to the commissioner, the state government is passionate about getting feedback to maintain its pivotal role in the socio-economic growth of the state.
We're doing our best to ensure that the people get to know what the government is doing, and I must commend our colleagues. We have enjoyed their cooperation so far in that regard, and of course they come to the office, and I tell them my office is always open. They can call me anytime, and a lot of my colleagues, the information team in Ogun State is composed of, is made up of professionals, and so we 24/7 we are ready to answer questions about what the administration is doing, and we are not just waiting for them to come and ask us. We've also been going out about to tell the people on radio, on television, on social media, and newspapers. We have been doing that.
He therefore solicits people's support for the administration to redouble its efforts as more achievements are still in the offing. The current administration in Ogun State in the last 3 years has not only taken giant strides in the education sector, but has also elevated quality of service in the sector. From the yellow roof spread across the state to Ogun Teach, which has engaged over 5,000 teachers, the current administration has left some indelible marks in the sector. Bumi Adigun x-rays this sector in the last 3 years.
Education is fundamental to the development and growth of any society. The human mind makes possible all development achievements, from health and agricultural innovations to efficient public administration and private sector growth. For countries and states to reap these benefits fully, they need to unleash the potentials of the human mind, and there is no better tool for doing so than education.
Tertiary school education, we have to bring it up to scratch. Yes, we have the largest number of schools in this state. However, the performances of our students are on the decline. We have to change that. So we may be declaring a state of emergency in the education sector.
Our state government in the last 3 years has not left any stone unturned in its education, science and technology sector, as it has made it enviable, and that has attracted several awards. The State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology, Teaching Service Commission, Primary and Secondary Education Sector, Technical Education, State Universal Basic Education Board have all surpassed their given targets.
The way things were when it came on board, if something urgently was not done at that time, only God knows what we're talking about today.
Ogun State is home to 1,564 public primary schools, over 500 public secondary schools, 7 government science and technological colleges. The state has 3 universities, 2 colleges of education, 1 college of health technology, 5 polytechnics, 1 petrol gas institute, 3 schools of nursing, and several private universities scattered all over its 3 senatorial districts. This concentration of citadels of learning makes the Gateway State the undisputed education hub of the country. Approval of backlog of teachers promotion exercise for 2016-2017 saw 10,000 teaching and non-staff in the state promoted. Rehabilitation of over 960 primary and secondary schools across various local governments in the state, known as the Yellow Roof Revolution.
Declared emergency and the massive rehabilitation of classrooms started. To date, we have done over 960 of such projects, and we are still counting. That would be the first phase.
The innovation of teaching the students while at home during the COVID-19 lockdown, called Ogun Digi class, adjudged one of the best ways of learning was also an added advantage.
I remember when we had to lock down, Ogun State was number one in actually starting with DigiClass. And with DigiClass, we were able to cover over, so many thousands of children. Not only that, because there was a time where His Excellency wanted to know, is this working or is it not working? And what we did was an assessment on a Saturday where we were able to find 80,000 students in the final year classroom, in the final year classes, sitting for the exam.
Ogun Teach is another laudable program of the current administration. This intervention has employed over 5,000 interns to fill teaching vacancies in primary, secondary, and technical colleges in the state.
School renovations, employment of teachers, training of teachers, and so on. When it comes to training of teachers, there's a lot has been done. You can't ask for more. The state government is doing its best. The federal government is doing its best through EBEC. And we have good training of teachers. To start with, you cannot find a teacher. Many of our primary schools having less than NCE. Okay? We have qualified teachers. Gone are the days when you have a primary school certificate or school certificate teaching. No. Or something like that in Subeb, all over Ogun State.
Other achievements were purchase of 25,000 furniture for the use of learners to cushion the effect of acute shortage in running costs of primary and secondary schools. Approval of 200 million naira as State Education Trust Fund for the development of infrastructure in state-owned tertiary institutions. Over 120% increase in the running costs given to primary and secondary school, 5% increase in feeding allowance for learners on special needs schools, distribution of wheelchairs to the special needs learners, repositioning and construction of Central Education Management Information System for data gathering, analysis, and presentation are all parts of the achievements of the administration in the last 3 years.
And by the grace of God, through the initiative of the Commissioner of Education on the intern program we call Ogun Teach, the technical education subsector was able to have 100 qualified teachers spread across our trades for all our 8 technical colleges in Ogun State. Also, would have been a proposal for collaboration with the World Bank in the development of our technical education sector in Ogun State before we came on board, but that has not really been pursued because there was no functional board on ground. So the governor constituted the Ogun State Technical and Vocational Education Board, and also we have the councils for each of the 8 technical colleges to facilitate the collaboration we desired with the World Bank.
Approval for Ogun State Education Intervention Fund for the education sector, approval of scholarships for outstanding students in all state tertiary institutions, and constant payment of bursary to Ogun State indigenes in Nigeria tertiary institutions are also on the list. There is also the feat of resuscitation and relocation of Ogun State Braille Book Production Center, which has been moribund for many years. All these and many more are attributable to the current administration in Ogun State, the last 3 years in the education sector.
You see that the approach is to attack the issue on ground in a very systematic, strategic, and pragmatic manner. I'm not here to say that you will still not find one school or the other where we still have something. Yeah, you will find. But the point is that anybody that is objective will tell me that the situation we have now is far better than what it was 3 years ago.
OGTV News.
Still to come in the news, NAPTIP expresses worry over rising cases of child trafficking in the southeast. We'll bring you the details of this and more after the break. 0.52 billion naira for various projects across the ministries of Petroleum Resources, Power and Police Affairs. The respective ministers disclosed this to State House correspondents shortly after the over 3-hour Federal Executive Council meeting presided over by the Vice President, Professor Yemi Oshibajo, at the Council chambers of the Presidential Villa, Abuja. According to the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Presiva, the Council approved 3.81 billion naira for a switch gear room for the Nigerian Oil and Gas Park in Bayelsa State for the local manufacture of components. Silva also revealed that the Council approved 11 billion naira for the construction of access roads and bridges to Brass local government area of Bayelsa State. He also noted that consultations have begun for the Nigerian National Petroleum Company to execute a memorandum of understanding with the Economic Community of West African States to construct the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline. The pipeline would be the longest offshore pipeline and second largest pipeline in the world, carrying gas from Nigeria to Morocco and running through at least 11 West African countries to Spain in Europe. On his part, the Minister of Police Affairs, Mohammed Dingyadi, said the Council approved a total of 8.32 billion naira for several projects in the ministry. They include the procurement of 82 Toyota operational vehicles for the Police Trust Fund at 2.2 billion naira, customized police raincoats for 1.9 billion naira, customized boots for 576 million naira, micro kits at 10 billion naira, curricular materials for police colleges at 664 million naira, and medical equipment for police health facilities for 2 billion naira. The Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, said the Council approved $968,818 and 7,393,000 for 393,000 naira for the offshore and onshore components, respectively, for the supply and installation of 330 kVA and 132 kVA transmission line for ongoing rehabilitation works in Lagos. He added that the Council approved the variation on a subsisting contract for a substation in Katsina and a line base in Kumboso in Kano. In a bid to build on existing capacity and deliverables expected of community development associations across Ogun State, a 4-day citizenship and leadership training has got underway. The Department of Community Development and Cooperatives under the Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives has therefore commenced registration of over 700 participants across the 20 local governments of the state. The training, which takes place at the Social Development Institute Shasha Ikperu Remo, is organized to educate and guide community development leaders on how to manage and guide their human and material resources. Tiwalade Faison reports.
The 4-day citizenship and training course for community leaders in Ogun State on different layers of administration is aimed at enlightening them more on leadership management in their local communities. The training, which commences with the registration of over 700 participants drawn from the 20 local governments, is expected to last till Friday. Alhaji Sonyaolu Kolawole, Odeda Community Development Committee Zonal Chairman, stated that the training is a good idea which will help community executives to be able to provide quality leadership without crisis and thus help in building a better future together.
People are in charge of the management of the CDAs are the people that are being trained here. The workshop is for the people in charge of the community. Anybody that is to be in charge of human being has to be trained, and as a head or leader in the community, you have to be absorbent.
Prince Deji Dosumu, Senatorial Chairman, Ogun West Community Development, emphasized on the importance of the training as it would help the trainees in human and materials management when they get to their various community development areas.
They should allow Shasha to pass through them. If you don't practice the community the way it's supposed to be practiced, and if you are not trained, you may be mingled up with issues. The training is for the leaders, community leaders, to have knowledge how to manage human beings.
Participants lauded the organizers, while they look forward to acquiring more knowledge and skills.
I know this program will make me to become a better leader and also to tutor the younger ones that are coming on board. So, because what I've seen here, I read from the beginning, I can see that at the end of the day, it's going to be a great benefit to every one of us at that.
They have talked about our health, our development in our environment, how to keep peace with our people. Normally, they have been giving us lecture how to develop our community, to manage our people in our area.
It is worthy of note that the training is organized by the Department of Community Development and Cooperatives under the Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives, with provisioned and stipulated activities in each day for the participant. Each participant will be awarded a certificate of participation at the end of the training. Tibolade Faison, OGTV News.
The current administration in Ogun State has led with inclusive approach to governance and has forthwith brought renewed hope to the people of the state through equal distribution of dividends of democracy. This was made known at a press briefing of the DA Acolyte, a social-political support group in support of the re-election of Prince Dapo Abiodun. Margaret Okunlola reports that the support group passed a vote of confidence on Prince Dapo Abiodun, endorsing him for a second term. Her report.
Drawn from the 20 local government areas of Ogun State, DA Acolyte is a socio-political support group that came together to pledge their support and endorse the second term of their #1 principal officer, Prince Dapo Abiodun. The convener, DA Acolyte, Engineer Alexander Mazoya, said Prince Dapo Abiodun is eligible to be re-elected based on his performance in his first tenure in office. They concluded he is the chosen one.
We have brought up this group to help in propagating the good works of our governor. We all know that he is a silent achiever. He doesn't make noise about what he is doing, but we, the followers, we are going to project all the good things he has been doing. And we're also here to sensitize our people on the need for us to keep supporting him. We believe in our governor, and that is why we call ourselves DA Acolytes.
Leaders and representatives from various senatorial districts in the state in attendance delivered their solidarity message.
Our governor is working tremendously in all senatorial districts.
If you want to look at the work His Excellency Prince Dr. Dapo Abiodun MFR has been doing in the state in the past 3 years, one will appreciate the need for him to have more support.
His Excellency Dapo Abiodun, he has the capacity. He has been delivering and he will do more. He has that capacity. He has that zeal.
It is a joint effort from everybody to see that this mission is for every one of us that we should have to do and accomplish.
A rally is scheduled to hold on Friday, 3rd of June 2022, while members are to converge on NNPC Abeokuta to sensitize residents of the state on the landmark projects of Prince Dapo Abiodun-led administration and the need to support and re-elect him in the 2023 general elections.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, said fresh registration in the Continuous Voters Registration, CVR, has hit 10.2 million. INEC said this in its Q4, Week 7 report released in Abuja, saying that 6.5 registrants have so far completed their registration. The Commission said that out of the people that completed their registration, 2.9 million did it online, while 3.6 million did physical registration. A gender breakdown of the registration revealed that 3.3 million of the people were males, while 3.2 million were females, of which 53,663 persons with disabilities, while 4.6 million were youths. Leaders in all community areas across Ogun State have been advised on the need to be united in order to improve their communities as well as the state at large. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Community and Development, Cooperatives Kolawole Ogunlana gave the advice during the Citizenship and Leadership Training course organized by the Ministry for Community Leaders across the state, held at the Social Development Institute, Shasha, Iperuremo, Ogun State. Ronke Adeyemi reports.
The 4-day basic citizenship and leadership course for community leaders in Ogun State always serves as an avenue to educate community leaders and provide effective solutions to any form of challenges at the grassroots. The annual program is an initiative of the Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives in collaboration with the Ogun State Community Development Council, and present at the event were stakeholders in security, human rights and land acquisitions. The participants are community leaders who are drawn from all panes of the state. Permanent Secretary of the State Ministry of Community Development and Cooperatives, Mr. Kolawole Ogunlana, in his address to participants, enjoined them to embrace unity as it is an important step in development.
For us to have a kind of pragmatic disposition towards how to perform their roles as community leaders, training is required. That is why we have been conducting citizenship and leadership training for both members of community organizations and executives for many, many years.
Guest lecturers, while commending the efforts of the ministry, addressed issues affecting communities in the state and called for joint efforts of all community members to ensure each community in the state are extensively and effectively catered for.
But with the dimension crime is going now, we need active participation of the community for us to achieve success in this regard, because we don't have eye at the back. You know, without you giving partner with us, sharing ideas with us, giving us information, we will achieve, but it will be at some cost.
You know, give us the opportunity to interact with the landowners, with the community leaders, and to let them know what they have to do, particularly as it relates to acquisition of land in Ogun State.
The interactive session included questions and answer session from the participants as well as lecturers. Ronke Adeyemi, OGTV News.
No fewer than 54 people have died of cholera disease in the country, the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, has said. In its latest report on the outbreak of the disease, the NCDC stated that the deaths were recorded between January 1 and May 1, 2022. It added that over 1,800 suspected cases were reported in 77 local government areas across 16 states of the country. The states are Abia, Adamawa, Akwa Ibom, Bauchi, Bayelsa, Borno, Cross River, Katsina, Kebbi, Kwara, Lagos, Nasarawa, Ondo, Rivers, Taraba, and Zamfara. As at May 1st, 2022, a total of 1,861 suspected cases, including 54 deaths, have been reported from the 16 states in 2022. The report said, of the suspected cases since the beginning of the year, age group below 5 years is the most affected age group for male and female. Of all the suspected cases, 50% are males and 50% are females. According to the health agency, 12 local government areas across 6 states reported more than 30 cases each this year. The National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, has expressed concern over the rising cases of child trafficking in the Southeast. The Southeast Zonal Commander, NAPTIP, Mrs. Nneka Ajie, said in Enugu that child traffickers had devised new means of getting their victims in the zone. Ajie said that it was sad that in spite of efforts by the agency to arrest the menace, incidences of child trafficking, illegal migration, and associated crimes were on the rise in the region. 17,727 victims of trafficking rescued, rehabilitated since 2003. The NAPTIP boss, she said that child traffickers had found a way to perpetuate the evil act in cohort with either parents, relations of their victims, or the victims themselves. She, however, said that the agency is determined to reduce the menace to the barest minimum through the instrumentality of his task force on human trafficking. The zonal commander said that the task force had been inaugurated in Anambra, Ebonyi, and Enugu, adding that Abia and Imo had yet to inaugurate theirs. Ajay said that the idea of the task force is to have state governments get more involved and buy into the programs of the agency through prevention, policy partnership, and prosecution of offenders. No fewer than 6 soldiers of the Nigerian Army are currently facing a court-martial for indiscipline and other related offenses at the 82 Division of the Nigerian Army, Enugu. The soldiers whose names were not mentioned are between the ranks of Corporal and Lance Corporal. The General Officer commanding the division, Major General Taurid Lagwaja, made the disclosure while inaugurating the General Court-Martial in Enugu. The GOC said that the court-martial was meant to instill general discipline in the Nigerian Army. Lagwaja noted that it was also meant to punish erring personnel as well as act as a deterrent for others not to engage in any act of indiscipline. According to him, it is an internal mechanism of the Nigerian Army used to put all its personnel in check. The GOC, however, said that the General Court-Martial provides justice for all, both to the accused, the state Nigerian Army, and the entire society. He charged the panel of the court-martial to ensure expeditious justice delivery, since justice delayed is justice denied. He also prayed the panel not to sacrifice sound judgment and justice on the altar of expeditious or speedy justice delivery. You're watching OGTV News. Business News is next. Do join us.
This decision is contained in a public notice by its Executive Chairman, Mohammed Nami, where the tax authority noted that most states and local governments have failed to remit the service withholding tax in value-added tax reductions for payments made to contractors and service providers by them as required by law. A statement by the Special
VATA stated that ministries, departments, and agencies of government, as well as parastatals and other establishments, were mandated by law to deduct certain taxes while making payments to third parties and remit those deductions to the FIRS. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has said the provisions of the regulatory guidelines for the redesigned Credit Risk Management System, CRMS, for commercial merchants and non-interest banks issued on February 27, 2017 are now applicable to all other financial institutions, OFIs, in the country. As a result, the Apex Bank said enforcement of Section 3.1 subsection A of the extant guidelines of CRNS that captures the submit before disbursement requirement shall apply to all OFIs on August 1, 2022. The Central Bank gave the directive in a circular addressed to all OFIs dated May 24, 2022, which was signed by its Director, Financial Policy and Regulation Department, Chibuzo Ifodi. The OFIs are further requested to profile the information on the NIBBS Industry Customer Accounts Database ICAD not later than June 20, 2022. The federal government said it has begun consultations with the Economic Community of West African States
for the commencement of works on the Nigeria-Morocco gas pipeline. The Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Timi Presiva, disclosed this to State House correspondents in Abuja. The pipeline, is said, will be the world's longest offshore pipeline and second largest pipeline globally, carrying gas from Nigeria to Morocco and running through at least 11 West African countries to Spain in Europe. The Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, has called for community ownership of telecommunication infrastructure to save needless economic losses across the country. NCC also decried the increasing rate of visualization of telecom facilities that includes daily 40 fiber cuts, stealing of oil panels and other variables at operators' substations. The executive vice chairman of the commission, Professor Garuba Umar Dambata, made the call during a village square dialogue with the theme Protection of Telecom Infrastructure for Improved Quality of Service, the Role of Residents, held in Dambata local government area of Kano State. He said the protection of telecom infrastructures was a responsibility of all, hence the need for the community members not to hesitate in reporting any suspicious act of vandalizing telecom infrastructure in the interest of all. Russia's Gazprom said on Wednesday that its gas exports to countries outside of the former Soviet Union dropped by more than a quarter year-on-year between January and May after losing several European clients. Exports to countries outside the region totaled 61 billion cubic meters, a 27.6% fall from the same period last year. The energy giant said in the statement. Gazprom added that gas deliveries to China via the Power of Siberia pipeline were increasing, but it did not provide any figures. Since Russian President Vladimir Putin sent troops to Ukraine on February 24, Moscow had demanded that clients from unfriendly countries, including EU member states, paid for their gas in rubles. And that was the business segment of the news. Thanks so much for watching.